Okay, here we go. Ladies and gents, welcome. This is my NXT TakeOver predictions for this Sunday. Another TakeOver event happening this Sunday on the WWE Network. And it will be the most bizarre TakeOver of all time. We said that about TakeOver Brooklyn 1 back in 2015, and now look at it, you know. This is obviously the first TakeOver with the zero fans era, the pandemic era. Which is, you know, when it first started, I was like, it was going to be weird when this is over. And now it's like we're so far in. We've had WrestleMania and Money in the Bank like this. Now we're getting to, you know, an NXT pay-per-view, and we've had Double or Nothing, countless Raws and Smackdowns and that sort of thing, and NXT TV shows. But this is the first TakeOver. Now it's like, it's going to be hard to imagine it, you know, being in a big stadium again, and just like, you know, when is this going to end? When are we going to have an end to the, you know, fanless, you know, and NXT or just wrestling shows in general, you know. So it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to the show as always. Always love the takeovers. NXT used to be my favourite show on TV, but that's been changing a lot recently. I say on TV. When it was exclusive to the network, it was my favourite, but ever since the autumn last year, ever since October, when Dynamite started on Wednesdays when I had competition, when it was not live on the network anymore or put on the network at the time, and I don't have BT, I don't have, you know, obviously I don't have the USA network. It's hard to access. I've been watching obviously the clips on YouTube and that sort of thing, and in this day of age, in this day and age, where you have things like YouTube and Dailymotion and Vimeo and that sort of thing for watching lots of wrestling content, you know, they wonder why the ratings are so bad. This could be its own video, but they always say, oh, the decline in ratings is because of the talent, it's because of the content. Not really. I mean, before the whole pandemic thing, we were still getting sell-out crowds. The takeovers were, you know, still such a hot ticket, you know. It's not down to the talent, and it's not down to... And this is not just TakeOver and NXT, this is all wrestling. This is all WWE, to be more specific. It's not because of the quality of the matches and the quality of the stories, it's because they post their own shows on social media the next day, and you can literally watch Raw in half an hour instead of watching it in 3 hours. Like this morning, this is Tuesday, I woke up and I went to watch the whole show. I went and found it on Dailymotion, and I was like, I'm just going to watch the highlights. And I watched through all the videos on YouTube. It took me about 28 minutes, and I watched the whole show, you know. That's the problem with WWE right now. They could post this stuff, you know, later in the week, but the fact is, like, immediately, who would sit through a 3-hour show when you could watch it in half an hour? I'm that guy who wants to watch the whole thing, but on days like today where I was just feeling a bit tired and a bit kind of like, I can't be bothered, it's such an easy thing, and it's in HD, you know, on YouTube, no adverts, kind of at the start, but no like commercial breaks. It's just, I don't know, obviously you might want to watch the whole show. If you're watching it live, that's a different story. But so many people don't even bother, you know, and I'm getting to that stage. I never thought I would get to that stage, but I am now. But anyway, we're already 3 minutes in, and I've not done our predictions yet. This is the predictions, my predictions for TakeOver. It's going to be weird seeing TakeOver like this, just like it was weird seeing WrestleMania like this. But the TakeOver earlier in the year, the last TakeOver in front of a crowd, Portland, I actually said at the time might be my favourite TakeOver, might be the best TakeOver ever. I'd put, you know, Dallas up there, one of the Brooklyn ones, maybe the Toronto one. There's been a bunch of really, really good ones. 25 was even a good one. But I'd say Portland is right up there, one of the best ones ever. So will this one, you know, carry on from that? And another hugely stacked card, you know, no reason why not, you know. So on top, you've got Adam Cole and the Velveteen Dream for the NXT Championship, and if the Dream loses, then this will be his last opportunity. So because of that reason, I thought Dream would win. Then I thought they're not going to have the Velveteen Dream win the NXT title in front of no fans, so Cole's going to win. But then I thought, well, they had Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman win, you know, world titles in front of no fans. Why not, you know? Also, I'm thinking, you know, in terms of making the Velveteen Dream the champion, that will change it up a little bit. Adam Cole's been champion for over a year now, which is great. It's been probably the best NXT champion ever, up there with Finn Balor, I'd say. But the problem with that is, instead of putting Velveteen Dream on top here, it's just because, you know, an ovation and a reaction like that, that's a career-making moment, really, isn't it? Or one of them, anyway. Sort of the stepping stone into becoming a main star. And Velveteen Dream isn't quite there in terms of the main star, and this making him champion will obviously do that, you know. So there's a good chance Dream will win this. But the whole, you know, stipulation of him having to, you know, not be able to challenge for the title again is interesting as well. That could go, you know, against him, and he could, you know, find someone else to feud with. But why not, you know, change it up a little bit? Why not have something fresh? He's been in the news a lot recently, and I believe he was falsely, what's the word? He was falsely accused of something earlier in the year that wasn't true, and it probably is always a nice thing. Like, they kind of do that, don't they, when something happens in someone's personal life, they try to rectify it and distract everybody from it by doing something with them on TV. So this could be it. So I predict Velveteen Dream, new NXT champion in this takeover. You also have Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. I've not seen much of this feud. As I say, I've not watched much NXT. Damian Priest I quite liked when he was in ROH. What was his name? Punishment Martinez? It's a cool name. I saw him in Edinburgh, I believe, live. Who did he wrestle? Did he wrestle Kenny King? He wrestled somebody. It was a good match. I remember it was a good match. Or was it Shane Taylor? I don't know. That was 2018. That was a good show. That's the day I met the Young Bucks as well, which has been my Twitter profile picture for 2 years now. Fun fact. Twitter, by the way, is at CM42TV. Come give me a follow over there. By the way, on Instagram just now, I'm doing my 30-day film challenge. Cineworld have, this has got nothing to do with this, Cineworld have posted a 30-day film challenge, 30 days answering one question about a certain film you love. I'm going to do it on Instagram over the next 30 days. This is day 2, so for the next little while, check me out on there, at CM42TV on Instagram. So yes, Finn Balor, Damian Priest. I'd like to say that Finn Balor wins this, because he is the best, but I don't know. This might do a lot for Damian Priest. So let's say Damian Priest wins this by cheating in some way. Low blow, Finn Balor slips on the top rope, something like that. Then we have for the NXT Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair defends against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. This is going to be a great match. These are 3 of the best, and I think it's going to be, I was going to say Io Shirai wins this one, but I don't know if she'll win it if Velveteen Dream is also winning the title. Maybe they're going to keep one of them for a crowd. But let's go with it. Let's say, why not? Who cares? Let's say it happens. Io Shirai wins the NXT Women's Championship this Sunday, and she's awesome. I love her. She's great. But Charlotte, there's no one better than Charlotte. And Rhea Ripley's cool too. Then we have the NXT North American Championship match. We have Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano, who, this new heel thing that he's doing is really cool. Gargano was so good at both. You know, he's one of those guys. He doesn't get the credit, and I feel like he should get the credit, because he's not on the main roster. He's in NXT, so people don't even consider him in the conversation for one of the best at being great at both, being a heel and a face, and can literally switch like that, and it doesn't matter. You know, Shawn Michaels was another one that was good at that. Jericho, Ric Flair. You know, it's not a bad company to be with. You know, Bret Hart you could even put in there in '97 with the Canadian thing and the American crowds. But or The Rock, there's another one. The Rock was a good one. Just thinking of good heels and faces. But Gargano's right up there, and he's definitely been one of the best in ages. And I feel like he should really move on and do something different. But he's just so comfortable in NXT, and he's so good in NXT. Why change it up? You know, if it don't fix it, if it's not broken. But speaking of that, Keith Lee is going to retain the title here. That's going to lead into a Gargano and Candice LeRae versus Keith Lee and Mia Yim match. That's obvious, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I reckon Keith Lee wins this. I don't think Gargano's going to beat him, and I didn't think Candice LeRae would be a good heel because she's so likeable, but she's doing a good job so far. So that's going to be Keith Lee's going to retain. And the other match is Karrion Kross, formerly known as Killer Kross, one of my favourites who was unsigned, who is now signed, versus Tommaso Ciampa. Killer Kross is going to be with Scarlett. Very excellent choice. And of manager. She's brilliant. No, but honestly, we need people like that who are going to be good characters and who are going to look different and who are going to have this sort of impact, influential impact on the match. And she's got a proven commodity in all these other companies and already been so. She's got a good look about her. She looks kind of evil and kind of menacing. And Killer Kross, man, he's great. He's one of those guys that you don't look at the wrestling ability and you don't look at the athleticism. In this day and age, that's rare, when the first thing you think about with Killer Kross is the character. Doesn't happen all the time. You know, Velveteen Dream's another one. You don't immediately think how good of a wrestler he is and how good of an athlete he is. Velveteen Dream's a freak athlete. But you think of the character straight away because it's so in your face and it's so big. Killer Kross is the same. The entrance, the theme song, Scarlett singing, I know they kind of scrapped that, but I liked it when they first, people were making fun of it, but I thought it was really cool. The lights and the smoke and stuff, and he just has this cool look about him, standing like Taj, you know. He was one of my favourites in Impact. coming out with the glasses and the long black coat and stuff. It's a little bit more stripped back in NXT, but he still wrestles the same with sort of the what do you call it, the kind of sleeper thing, the Hajime, again, like Taz. But yeah, Killer Cross wins this, no bother. Establishing new stars, that's what we need to do. He was one of the biggest stars before signing on NXT and WWE, so let's keep it that way. Let's not put him on a losing track right off the bat. This will be his like 4th match or something in NXT, and Champ is great, we know that, so that's not going to be a bad thing at all. It's going to be a really good match. A stacked card this Sunday for NXT TakeOver. It's going to be a good one. Hope everybody enjoys. And by the way, it's called In Your House, which is bonkers, but genius at the same time, because I love the logo, I love the way it looks. I hope we get the house again. That's going to be cool, the wee garden. Hope that's going to be there again. But the fact that we're going to be in our houses, everyone's going to be in our houses, is a genius name for the show. So this will go up out there, you know, against the first WWE In Your House, where the first match was Bret Hart and Hakushi, and a very underrated match, where the rest of the matches on that card I couldn't even tell you, which tells you something. I'm sure Bret Hart wrestles Jerry Lawler later in the match, or later in the show. So this will be the first NXT In Your House. What will be the standout match of this show, I look forward to on Sunday. And remember, my wrestling podcast, The Wrestling Connection, launches and doesn't launch, but it drops every Sunday on all your favourite podcasting outlets. And here on YouTube by searching The Wrestling Connection podcast. Please subscribe and follow wherever you can. And listen to me and my mate Glenn chat about wrestling every single week, baby. Until next time, thanks very much for watching, folks. I'll see you all then. Enjoy In Your House. Enjoy TakeOver this Sunday on the WWE Network.